All right, well, here we are again, all right, Paddy Expat Club, Hotel Barracuda. It's Tuesday morning, we're on Carty here, and as always, I've got our speaker here. It's my privilege to interview him. Okay, so Mark Avery.
Mark Avery. Pleased to meet you.
Say hello to everybody.
Hello everyone. hope you're all well.
Oh, they are indeed. Okay, but your talk was about my time inside. Now, let me just clarify that. Inside prison, but not as a prisoner.
No, not as a prisoner, as a prison officer. Okay. I made that quite clear at the beginning.
I'm glad you did that.
Because when the gentleman was saying, "Oh, Mark's time in Pentonville," I thought I'll just elaborate on that a bit more.
Everybody sat back a little forward. Okay, yeah. But you started off with the time you've spent in the service. So could you just talk? Well, we've got a group of people there. It's a very interesting subject. Okay. Lots of questions. So how long were you actually in the service for?
I was actually in the service approximately 24 years in total. Hell. So it was a long old time. But the gentleman up there said he'd done 30 odd years. So
yeah, that was
he beat me to it. A lot of it in the Australian prison service.
Yes,
But you say Australian, it's all state orientated. Yes. I think the Western Australia. Yeah, 24 years total.
Interesting, eh?
Yes, I look back on it, and I definitely, I would say, it had a satisfactory time. There were ups and downs, of course, especially in the end when I would suggest it did affect me mentally.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Definitely.
I don't think anybody really gives that any thought, but you spoke about the current state of the I'll call it the prison system. Is that the right reference?
That's correct. Yeah, prison system.
So you spoke about the current state of it.
The prison system, like I said, and I've said this for years, and I'll reiterate it now. It's still, I reckon, the sort of forgotten public service. Yeah. Which I can understand to a certain extent. Because, like I said, you've got the police, you've got the NHS, you've got the fire brigade, the teachers, all outward sort of professions, whereas a prison officer's role is contained within walls, physically and psychologically. Yeah. And unless you've been inside yourself as a prisoner or a prison officer or have family related to such, it's a closed subject.
Well, it's true, because everybody thinks there's a crime committed, something happens, then somebody's sentenced, the block comes, and nobody moves on and has a look at what happens after that. It's very interesting.
Because eventually those people, the vast majority, will eventually come out.
I agree.
So you've got to do something with them, rehabilitate them, or try and change them.
Most of them come out, I don't really know, I was going to make an observation there, but I would think a lot of them come out worse than when they went in.
Yes, yes.
Really, because it's the law of conformity. Whoever you mix with, you become like them.
That's a very good statement, and it's true. You do get people there who are maybe not severe criminals when they go in, but they know a lot more when they come out.
Yes,
it's sort of, I think you meant it's virtually a carousel.
Yes,
we used to call it revolving doors.
That's it.
And it's something must be done. I don't profess to know what, apart from saying more resources, but that's the government handles that, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's not a priority to the government.
But it's funny, I'm going sideways, but every time everybody talks about resources as though money is the answer. Money is not really the answer, it's what you do with that money.
Yes, I agree
and most of that money that goes to the government it's gone.
I totally
administration
agree.
And all, there's nothing practical.
It's got to be managed properly and spent properly, and as you say, it's got to be planned properly.
Yeah, I mean everybody, not just UK, everybody, you hear the government's it's resources, we need more funding. It's not the answer, it's because what's happening is not efficient at the moment. But anyway, but you spoke about Pentonville Prison. Okay, and when I say that's close to my heart, only because, not because I've been in there, okay, but I come from that area in London.
You know the Caledonian Road, yes, I know it well.
Yeah.
Quite, as I said, quite a cosmopolitan road.
It is. And then you spoke about the transformation that's happened during your time in this industry, I'll call it in this career. It's transformed. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. It's where it's transformed, I suppose, it's less on the discipline side and more on the rehabilitation side. Yeah. And I'm all for rehabilitation, but once again, rehabilitation is not cheap, and it requires, I was going to say manpower, I'm not sure if you can say that anymore, but it requires people. It's not a machine. You need people to rehabilitate, to talk, to interact.
Interesting.
So that's the only way you're going to do it. You're not going to get robots not going to do it.
No, I know.
Or a computer.
I know. But I mean, obviously your career You spoke a lot about the staff pressure. I don't think most people realise that the pressure that you're under when you're working in that environment.
It's constant.
It
constant.
would be.
Even if you're just, like, you call it ED, evening duty.
Okay.
It's 2 hours long before they all get locked up for the night.
Yeah.
They're doing their cooking, they're going to the gym, they're interacting,
Yeah.
you know, and you possibly at the most, not so much Pentonville, that's a nightmare, but of course the staff resources or lack of staff. But at Whitemore you had 3 officers, so that's a reasonable number. But all the time during that time they're going doing things, for those 2-3 hours, most jobs have been done. So you're just interacting with each other.
Right.
But that's the time you've really got to, don't forget where you are.
Yes.
Just remember you're still in a high security prison, so you've got to
It's true.
look around and make sure what's going on. You know, keep your eyes open. Even though they've got cameras everywhere, you've still got to do that. It's so easy just to say, sit down and relax now, on the windowsill sort of thing. No.
I can see it. Yeah, you can see it. Okay, but really it's not the environment to do that, is it?
You don't do that till they're all locked up and you go out that gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's why I said up there about, and I still remember it now, at Swaleside, at Pentonville, at Whitemore. You hand your keys in, you go through the automated machine at Whitemore, and you're out.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine that, really.
24 years I've done it, I still felt that.
Yeah.
Out, off, free.
Well, it's like I mean, I've never been inside. You know, I can just imagine the pressure. Only from what you see on the movies and things like that, but it's got to be worse than what's in the movies, I can imagine.
Yeah. And what's that old adage of old cons saying, oh, you're just as much a prisoner as we are, Gov. You might get home at night, but you're still in here with us during the day. Mate. And I thought about that, you can't argue with that point.
No, I know. But you spoke about inmate experiences. You spoke first off about the staff pressure that you're under.
Yeah.
And then the pressure or I'm not quite sure, but inmate experiences. What's your experience with regards to any transformations that they go under or whatever it is? Or
okay, when I worked in the drug unit, that's only a small little unit because it's labour intensified.
Yeah.
And you have courses, you have group work where you've got a group of prisoners, possibly about 8 or 9. You've got a psychologist and a prison officer.
Yeah.
And that's when you do courses, you interact. And I never forget his name, a guy called Danny White, big black guy from Brixton, who once said to me, you never knew what I was like before. And I said, Danny, I'm sure you were, but thankfully I've never seen that side. I've only seen the pleasant side of you, because obviously you've progressed. And he eventually went, I think it was to Worcester University upon release.
Right?
Yes. And he took a degree of sorts. I can't remember exactly what now.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and he came back, because some of them do that, which is nice, to talk to the present prisoners.
Yeah.
You know, and I heard he was in the jail at Pentonville. So I've got to see him. Yeah. And I went and managed to see him, and he was there, suit and tie.
Yeah, bloody brilliant.
And I thought, there you go. It can work. Okay, unfortunately, they're only minuscule numbers, but it can happen.
Yeah, and he's going back there to show that it happened.
Yes.
That's what's good,
Yeah, absolutely. To those guys, and say, look, I can do it, why can't you? Whether they would is another story. But
so through all the darkness, there's always a little
absolutely. There's got to be hope, otherwise you give up.
Brilliant, mate. Okay. And then I know you've got to be careful on this one, but you spoke about government response.
Yeah.
To all what's going on.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I know I signed an official secret act when I was 19 when I joined the Air Force. So, and again in the prison service. But I suppose the government response, it's not. I firmly believe, to them, it's not a priority. Yeah. The other public services are more of a priority.
I agree, 100%.
And I can understand that. The fire brigade, the nurses, the doctors, the police, because they're outside of the general public. Of course, that's something the prison service, because of its nature, can't escape.
Yeah.
Because, sorry for the word, bit of a pun there, but
it's true.
It's true. It will never be up there. It'll always be below all that lot.
Yeah, because in people's minds, that the bad bit has been cut out and it's over there.
Yeah, the vast majority of people,
that's over there.
Yeah, it's out there, out the way.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But they obviously don't think enough about.
Well, because as you say, it comes back
out.
again. It comes back again.
Yeah. So work has got to be done. In my opinion, it probably never will be. To the extent, as I said, rehabilitation, I'm all for it, and I know it's expensive, etc., etc., etc. So I personally don't believe it will ever be done. No.
Yeah.
I'd love to be proven wrong, but that's my honest opinion.
But very, very interesting talk. Any conclusions for anybody? Don't go in prison. And don't become a prison officer.
Yeah.
No, I'm only joking.
Unfortunately, well, obviously, excuse me, don't go in prison speaks for itself. But when it comes to the job, unfortunately now, as an old timer, so to speak, to the youngsters, I see the youngsters going in now, and I wish them the best of luck. But I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
My daughter, all these things coming back. She's 20. I have to think about it. She's 21 now at Newcastle University, studying to be a pharmacist.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And she once said to me when she was maybe only 8, 9.
Yeah.
You know, we were having breakfast on with the spoons in March, and she, out of the blue, she said to me, "Dad or Daddy, I don't want to become a prison officer."
Yeah,
and I looked at her and said, "Great,
that's the way.
Great."
But I'll be truthful, I can't imagine anybody sitting down and planning and, what would I like to be? I'd like to be a prison officer.
No.
I can't even see that entering anybody's mind, you know?
I think it only did with mine because after 12 years in the Air Force,
Yes.
I always swore I would not go back into any uniformed service.
Yeah.
I had 2 years doing a imports manager job up in Lancaster area.
Yeah.
That all went a bit pear-shaped. My first marriage went a bit pear-shaped. So I just thought, okay, what am I going to do? I even thought about going back in the RAF.
Yeah.
But no, that wasn't it. So I thought, okay, what? Greater Manchester Police, I looked at. So I was looking at various options and the prison service.
Yeah.
And guess what came first?
Yeah.
First one at Progress was the prison service. So I thought, well,
mate.
and I told Manchester Police and they said, okay, fine, don't want to be with us. Don't wanna be with us.
Fantastic, and a long career has led you to here,
That's very kind of
and
you.
a certificate.
Thank you very much.
Okay, listen,
Very
thank you very much for coming. We'll get you back again because it was interesting.
No problem
It was
at all.
interesting.
I'll be attending every Tuesday, so
Good for you.
thank you very much.
Okay,
Cheers.
excellent. Okay, well look, join him, join us every Tuesday, Hotel Barracuda, Expat Club. Good food, good company, good topics, good people. See you next Tuesday.
I recommend it.